right, everyone. Thanks for waiting. Let's go ahead and get started. So today's webinar is a little bit different. This is what we call sort of our instant expert research briefing. So this will be very focused, very hard-hitting, very data-driven, all about real estate tech. And we're not actually going to take questions at the end in an interactive way. But that said, you should ask any questions you do have via the questions tab, or either at CB Insights on Twitter using the hashtag #RETechCBI. And even though we're not going to answer them live here today, we will get to you and get to them as soon as we can, usually within just a few hours. So please ask questions. We'll do our best to respond. But in the interest of time and sort of maintaining that hard-hitting dynamic, we won't be answering them here today. We will, however, be distributing the slides and recording immediately after, so no need to take notes, and if you have any issues seeing the images, etc., we will be sending those out to you. If you do have any help desk or sort of technical support questions during the webinar, Citrix has an online help desk, and again, we will be sort of monitoring our Twitter as well. So again, at CB Insights, hashtag #RETechCBI, that's the best way to join the conversation. You can also ask us questions here, but of course the other attendees won't see those. And so with that, I want to just sort of give you a little bit of context about CB Insights, and then we'll turn it over to Ben. So we're a big data and analytics platform. We track all the private companies in the world, who's financing them, what they're doing with the money, which sectors are trending. And so if you use data and monitor sort of emerging tech companies, emerging industries, to sort of inform your strategy, we're an excellent resource, and we have a very robust platform. We'd be happy to show it to you. It doesn't take very long to run through it. And I think, we're backed or have a lot of customers that sort of speak to the depth and quality of the data, and sort of how taking a more data-driven approach is now sort of a strategic imperative. But with that, let me introduce Ben. So Ben is a research analyst here at CB Insights. Obviously, one of the sectors he covers is real estate and real estate tech. His research has been featured in numerous publications, including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Financial Times. So we're definitely in good hands here. He's an expert on the space. Before he joined CB Insights, Ben was worked at Resonant Venture Partners, and he's a graduate of the University of Michigan. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ben. And again, we're all about data here at CB Insights, so we believe in probability, not punditry. And I think Ben's a good testament to that, and so we'll take it away.
Hi everyone, thank you Victor, and thank you everyone for joining. Let's jump right in. Just to outline what we're going to cover today in the webinar, first we'll start with general real estate tech, what it is, why it's popular, and the emerging company landscape. Then we'll examine where real estate tech is driving investment, seeing what the global trends are looking like, who the active investors are, and more. After that, we'll dive into real estate tech in Asia, looking at the subset of cities that are seeing a lot of deal activity, as well as the specific startups in Asia that are raising large amounts of funding. Following the Asia breakdown, we'll discuss some of the emerging categories we're seeing within real estate tech, such as the commercial, residential, mortgage space, etc. We'll then wrap up with some notable news and thoughts on real estate tech moving forward. Also, one note before we begin, please do not worry about us moving too quickly. We're going to send out the slide deck and webinar recording at the end of the presentation, which you will be able to revisit at your convenience. So what are we talking about when we talk about real estate tech? Real estate tech, defined in short, encompasses all the software tools and platforms used by different participants in the real estate industry. That includes brokers, investors, real estate-focused lenders, commercial property owners and managers, as well as buyers. And that excludes construction tech and software and office management services and buildings such as cleaning services. So what does the real estate tech startup ecosystem look like right now? Here's a market map with some of the real estate tech startups broken down into various categories. When someone says real estate tech, what first comes to mind might be the listing sites of Zillow or Zoopla. But real estate tech encompasses applications that span way beyond that. And if you look at the map, nearly all of the categories within real estate are being touched by technology. To go through just a few examples on the map, let's start from the top middle. We have tech-enabled brokerages. These are startups that employ in-house brokers with their own listing services. The category includes both Compass and Redfin, which have each raised over $100 million in funding to date. Another example is property management software. These are primarily tools for property managers, landlords, homeowners, and tenants. We are seeing an increasing number of companies vertically focus and cater their tools as either commercial or residential property management software. The last example I'll discuss is virtual property viewing. Startups here are creating the opportunity to use cutting-edge technology like 3D video to view properties remotely, and that's both commercial and residential property viewing. Companies that have gained the most traction thus far are Matterport and Florid. So, how much is funding booming for global real estate tech? Looking into the annual history trend, you can see that real estate tech companies raised over $1.7 billion in investment in 2015, the strongest year by far. This represents an impressive 50% increase in funding to the space when compared to 2014 figures. The quarterly trend reveals that 2016 is showing no signs of slowing down. Q1 16 actually hit a record in deal activity with 56 deals recorded and $428 million put to work. For those of you who follow our CB Insights global VC reports, you'll remember large pullbacks in global VC funding and deal activity in Q4 15 and Q1 16, which is why the 2 consecutive quarters of deal growth in Q4 15 and Q1 16 to real estate tech is even more impressive when thinking about the macro investment climate. Q1 16 also had some notable deals. Crowdfunding marketplaces such as Realty Shares raised a $20 million Series B led by Union Square Ventures, and Property Partner raised a $22.4 million Series B led by Octopus Ventures and Index Ventures. Although it's too early to tell, Q2 16 looks good shape to be a healthy quarter. The quarter will hit a record in funding on one deal alone in Chinese online to offline services company HomeLink, which raised over $900 million in their Series B in April 2016. We'll dig into what's happening in Asia later on. So how do we know real estate tech has arrived? Often the best indicator to know that an industry is here is when the most widely recognized intelligent investors start investing in a space. At CB Insights, we refer to this list of 24 investors as smart money VCs. To see where these smart money VCs are investing, we're looking into the business social graph, which shows the connectivity between top investors in order to analyze where investors are. Of the 24 smart money VCs, 16 are already betting on real estate tech. In terms of broader categories these smart money VCs are betting on, we see that crowdfunding platforms are an area that investors are bullish on. Realty Shares, Property Partner, Cadre, and RealCrowd have all raised financings from these investors. Another category smart money VCs are betting on are tech-enabled brokerages. Compass is backed by Founders Fund, and Redfin is backed by Greylock. We've also identified where smart money VCs have overlapping investments. The ones that stand out are commercial real estate crowdfunding platform Cadre, which shares generalist Founders Fund and Coastal Ventures, and apartment search company Zumper, which we highlight later on in this presentation, and they share 4 investors in Greylock, Andreessen, Kleiner Perkins, and NEA. So who are some of the most active investors outside of the smart money VCs? Taking a look at this graphic, we see the most active investors in real estate tech. Among them are a bunch of well-known names that invest across stages. But what's really notable here is that among the top 9 investors, 4 of them are New York-based, including Josh Kushner's Thrive Capital, Box Group, RRE Ventures, and Metaprop. What's also interesting here are some of their overlapping investments across investors. For example, commercial real estate search company 42 Floors has 4 separate overlapping investors in 500 startups, Box Group, SV Angel, and Thrive Capital. And Renren Lian Holdings, the venture arm of Chinese social network Renren, and Camber Creek both participated in the Series A of Fundrise. Now let's take a look at how some of the most active investors and acquirers are related. There's a lot going on in this visualization, but perhaps the most notable fact here is that Zillow has quietly been an active acquirer in this space. They've acquired companies like Trulia for $3.5 billion in July 2014 and StreetEasy for $50 million in August 2013, and they've recorded 11 disclosed acquisitions to date. Commercial real estate firm CoStar Group is an active acquirer as well, and some of their acquisitions can be seen on the bottom left. There have only been a handful of exits in real estate tech thus far, both funding reaching record highs. We expect both the absolute number of exits and a few highly valued exits to make noise in the coming months. Exit activity is coming from companies headquartered all over the world. For example, real estate search site Zoopla is headquartered in the United Kingdom. Real estate portal CommonFloor is based in India. And online to offline services Leju Holdings is based in China. So, at what stage are companies striking the most deals? When taking a look at the numbers, what stands out is the overwhelming majority, or 71% of deals, are happening at the seed and Series A stage, and 11% of deals are occurring at the Series B and Series C stages, illustrating that real estate tech is still in its early days. Digging a little deeper here, we see the global breakdown of deal activity by city. What's most impressive is that New York trumps Silicon Valley in rounds to real estate tech companies. Given that New York has the greatest density of real estate tech investors, it's not surprising that it has become the biggest hub for real estate. Additionally, among the other cities to see the most activity includes two cities in India, Bangalore and Mumbai, which we'll talk about more in the Asia section. Dollar share has varied considerably when looking at the US versus the rest of the world. But the general trend over the past few years has been towards a greater share for markets outside the United States. In terms of dollars invested, China is seeing an uptick in investment. So what's happening in Asia? Real estate tech is a really hot market here, so let's dig into some of the numbers to see just how much. Here we see financing trends to Asia-based real estate tech startups. In 2015, Asia-based real estate tech startups raised $848 million compared to $580 million in 2014. This represents a 46% increase in funding dollars deployed. Investment in China is not slowing down, and some of the most well-funded real estate tech startups are headquartered in Asia. We'll show a breakdown of them in a bit. But first, let's take a look at some of the largest rounds to real estate tech startups in Asia. There were 9 $50 million plus rounds invested in real estate tech startups since 2011. But what's telling in this graphic is that there was an uptick in rounds in 2015, which mirrors the jump we saw in mega rounds to global VC-backed companies. But there's only been one $50 million plus round to Asian startups in the sector in 2016 in Lianjia HomeLink, which we highlight in a bit. When taking a closer look at deal activity by country in Asia, India was responsible for the plurality of deal share, accounting for 39% of real estate tech deals. Some recent deals in India include rental management platform Zenify, as well as real estate marketplace Nestaway. Other countries to account for significant deal share include China, Japan, and Singapore. So which cities are attracting the most deals? Here is a ranking of deal volume by Asian city. 3 of the top 4 cities are Indian cities, while others like Shanghai and Shenzhen are Chinese cities. Japan's capital in Tokyo is also among the cities to see some real estate tech activity. And which countries are attracting the most dollars within Asia? While China accounts for 19% of deal share in Asia, they're actually accounting for 62% of dollars going to Asia-based real estate tech startups. This indicates that there are few but relatively large financings taking place in China. So who are some of the companies drawing in these dollars in Asia? 3 out of the 5 companies are based in China, $1.8 billion in funding. As I mentioned earlier, we expect a record in funding for Q2 16 off one deal alone, and that's because of HomeLink, seen at the top, which is the most well-funded real estate tech company in Asia and actually globally. Real estate tech companies in Asia are not struggling to raise funding, that's for sure. Other well-funded companies here include Singapore's Property Guru, which is backed by TPG, MTech, and SquarePeg Capital, as well as India's Housing.com, which is backed by SoftBank Capital, among others. Now we'll discuss some emerging categories in real estate. Using CB Insights data, we created a breakdown of the residential real estate tech market. We mapped out 96 startups across 15 categories to visualize what the current residential tech market looks like. It's worth noting more and more startups are joining the space every day, and we expect new categories to emerge as the space grows. On the left side, we see listing and search services. These include startups that help users search for residential real estate. And what's interesting here is that startups are somewhat picking at Zillow by focusing on apartments, or in some cases focusing their efforts on certain geographies. Another category we find interesting is marketplaces, which you'll find second to the left. At the top of the section, you'll see Open Door Labs, which was founded by Keith Raboy and also backed by his firm Coastla Ventures. They're one of the more unique marketplaces as they enable homeowners to sell their properties in a very short period. Other startups here include Latin America-focused Viva Real, which has raised over $61 million to date. Towards the top, we have residential brokerages like Real, which raised a $6 million Series A from Magma Venture Partners. Real hopes to be an agent-friendly brokerage building technology products fully catered to its residential agents. Others in the category include Compass and Redfin, which we talked about a bit earlier. Below tech brokerages, we have property management software solutions. Like we mentioned earlier, these are primarily tools for property managers, landlords, homeowners, and tenants. Castle and Rentalocious are both in this section and have raised financing in 2016. Below listing services, we have agent matching. Startups here are connecting users directly to qualified residential agents. HomeLight is one of the startups in this category, and they've raised an $11 million Series A led by Z Ventures in April 2016. Moving on, we'll dig into the commercial real estate tech scene. The CRE tech landscape is still quite nascent, but we broke down the growing vertical into its 11 emerging categories. It's worth noting that there aren't as many companies in this market map as the residential market map, but the map below is certainly growing. On the top towards the middle, you can see leasing management software companies like Hightower and VTS. Startups here help brokers and owners manage deal activity, identify trends, quantify portfolio performance, among other tools. Data valuation and analytics, which can be found on the right side, is also one of the emerging categories in the CRE tech space. Among them is CompStack, which crowdsources building data from real estate agents to create leasing comparables. CompStack has raised over $9 million to date. Another in the category is Rentalytics, which provides analytics and intelligence to multifamily owners and operators. They raised their $9 million Series A in January 2016. We expect smaller categories like mortgage tech to grow in the coming months as more startups tackle the commercial real estate space. An area that has seen a large amount of investment has been crowdfunding and new investment platforms. In the breakdown below, we highlight well-known platforms like Cadre, which raised over $68 million, to lesser-known companies like CrowdStreet, which has raised just $4.4 million in disclosed funding. There's a desire to bring commercial and residential investment opportunities to individual investors, and these platforms do just that. It's worth noting, however, that crowdfunding has had a shadow cast on it, as news earlier this year highlighted alleged impropriety happening at Fundrise, and broader questions around crowd lending after issues at Lending Club surfaced earlier this month. Despite this, there are a number of companies looking to bring individuals unique real estate opportunities, either in the form of debt or equity investment. Here you'll see a breakdown of some of the real estate tech startups attacking the mortgage space. The breakdown includes Blend Labs, which gathers data sources such as digitized pay stubs, tax forms, and bank statements for borrowers to give to their lender. Syndio, which provides consumers with guidance, information, and tools to find the right mortgage and lender. Roostify, which helps lenders process loans faster by tracking information in the mortgage application and closing process. Lenda, which is a mortgage refinancing software that enables homeowners to compare loan options, complete their application, securely manage documents, and keep track of their loan status. And Habito and Trussell, which are digital mortgage brokers that fully automate the brokering service to help you find the best mortgage. Towards the bottom, we included some news in the mortgage tech space. It's a little bit old, but worth mentioning. SoFi, a company primarily known for their student loans, began doing mortgages and refinancings. As I mentioned, this is a space with opportunity, and I expect more startups to emerge in both the commercial and residential mortgage space. Now we'll take a look at some real estate tech companies using CB Insights Mosaic. The CB Insights Mosaic algorithm tracks the health of private companies, and we've highlighted a couple real estate tech companies with high Mosaic scores. All 6 of these companies have Mosaic scores above 800. The list includes Pakistan-based listing service Zameen, which raised a 20 million Series C in January 2016, as well as virtual viewing company Matterport, which has raised over 58 million in funding to date. So what are some things happening in real estate tech right now? These are the deals that stood out to us in Q1 16 and roughly halfway through Q2 16. Some big news for the commercial real estate tech space came out earlier this May when VTS, the leasing and asset management software company we discussed earlier, raised one of the largest financings for a commercial real estate tech startup. It was a 55 million Series C led by Insight Venture Partners. It'll be interesting to see if this has a domino effect on other commercial real estate tech startups and if we'll see larger financings in the coming months. LendInvest, the online mortgage platform based in the UK, raised a 24.4 million Series B in March 2016. This is a promising deal as the mortgage space begins to pick up more speed. Nestaway Technologies is a real estate marketplace in India. The company raised a 30 million Series B in April 2016. This is notable because the majority of large deals in Asia have been taking place in China, so maybe we'll continue to see more mid and late stage financings to India-based real estate tech startups. To get a better sense of what's next, we'll use CB Insights News Tracker to aggregate relevant real estate tech news. Metaprop, the New York-based real estate tech-focused accelerator, kicked off the second batch of their accelerator earlier this month. They invested in a number of real estate tech startups, such as lease flipping marketplace Flip, as well as property management software startup Rentolutions. We didn't have a chance to cover this, but the blockchain is presenting some promising opportunity for real estate. The blockchain presents opportunities like making real estate a more efficient and expedited process, helping reduce fraud, and providing transparency to the market. I'm sure we'll see other applications with how real estate relates to the blockchain, and we'll be keeping an eye out for companies attacking this. Lastly, in a time where we are seeing a number of thesis-driven venture capital firms emerge and focus on either Bitcoin or frontier tech, it's important for the real estate tech startup landscape to have firms like this as well. While there are a number of CVCs like Camber Creek, Corrigan, and Expansion Venture Capital that have been active, California-based Grey Wolf, founded in 2015, has built their entire thesis around real estate technology and has become an active investor recently as well. It's important for the entire real estate tech ecosystem to have focused VCs like Grey Wolf, and I expect others to emerge in the future. Well, that concludes everything I prepared for you today. Thank you all for listening, and please know that real estate tech is an area of ongoing coverage for us, so stay tuned for coming research. And we'll be fielding questions offline on Twitter if you use the RETechCBI hashtag. And if you want to find me, my handle is @BenjaminWaxman. Again, we'll send out the slide deck and webinar recording at the end of the presentation, which you can revisit. Thanks for your time. I look forward to bringing you more in the future. And now, I'll hand it over to Victor.
All right, thanks, Ben, and thanks everyone for listening. Again, we'll send out the slides and recording as Ben mentioned. If you have any last-minute questions, you want to try to type them in on the question before we sign off here, please do. You can also ping us at webinar@cbinsights.com for any last-minute questions. And then did want to mention, we are a database and analytics platform, so a lot of the insights that Ben brought you today, if not all of them, were derived from using our data and our analytics tools to pull out trends. And so if you're interested in seeing the platform and playing around with the tools on your own, definitely drop us a line and we'd love to sort of set that conversation up. So thanks again. Definitely be on the lookout for the slides, the recording, and invites to future webinars, whether they're real estate tech focused or not. Thanks.